Welcome to another episode of Battle Axe, coming to you as always from the Bus and Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya, alongside Bobby Bradford. This is week number 7, the final week of the regular season before we head off to the double elimination postseason tournament. So one last chance for these competitors to sharpen their game, pun intended, before the postseason begins. Here are the rules. All the rings are worth 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 points. The bullseye is worth 6 points. Once you score on that center bullseye in a half of a match, you can no longer score the 6 points on it. So if you want to continue to get 6 points, you have to go and get those outside bullseyes on the 3 ring. On the outermost ring, you'll see that small blue dot. That's what's called the kill shot. It's worth 8 points. At any point during a match, a player can go for it. If they hit it, they get the 8 points. But if they miss it, they get nothing. You can hit 2 kill shots in a match, and it's made for some very exciting competition. Let's take a look at what everyone will be competing for once we get this double elimination postseason tournament started. It is the Bus and Axe Championship Trophy, and it's a beaut.
Absolutely, Joey. This is the Bus and Axe World Championship Cup, currently held by Eric the Scope Shizzle. But as we've seen from all the weeks leading up to week number 7 here, Joey, there's a ton of great competition in this league. Everyone's fighting for this cup, and I'm really excited to see how this regular season plays out and how this double elimination week 8 tournament shapes up.
Yeah, we've got a few defending champions competing for this,
Correct.
And we've got some competitors that would like to get their hands on it for the first time, all of them right in the mix when we get that double elimination tournament started. Let's take a look at the standings after 6 weeks of competition. It's Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw, of course, a former multi-time champion, 23-1. He's averaging nearly 48 points per game.
Yeah, Matt is in top form, of course, and then followed by Leroy Kedley, as you can see there, 18-6, averaging 45.8 points a game. So he is definitely a competitor that wants to take home that cup, followed by Cody Yoakum, Justin Smith, Zach Hinkle, Eric Shizzle, Jill Kedley, Michelle Fremelt, Ann Welp, and Nancy Kramer round out the top 10.
That is a look at the leaderboard. 10 really great competitors. We'll see a lot of them here in week number 7. And without further ado, let's get the competition started. Our first matchup here in week 7, it'll be Michelle Fremelt taking on Nancy Kramer.
Yeah, so Michelle and Nancy both coming in at 10 and 14. We've seen some incredible strides here from Nancy Kramer in this league. She's putting up a lot more consistent points, and she's also eliminated the drops from her game.
Yeah,
hopefully I haven't jinxed her, but
similar story for Michelle Fremelt. She struggled with the drops early on in her Battle Axe career, and she's really become one of the better competitors in this league.
Yeah, Michelle can definitely put up consistent points. And Nancy, with her new renovated throw, she's definitely finding that consistent 4, 5, and 6 ring a lot more than she has earlier in her axe throwing career.
Well, Michelle Fremelt out to the early lead after throwing a 4. It was a 3 for Nancy Kramer. We'll see if she can get closer to that center bullseye.
Rule to 4 there. Not popping through on the bottom side of that axe there for Nancy Kramer, but still just a 1-point lead for Michelle going into the 3rd throw. Oh, man.
Might have jinxed her. I talked about how drops had been a problem for her early on, and there is just a devastating drop on her 3rd throw. Nancy Kramer taking advantage, throwing what appears to be a 4. She wants to get a closer look at this one, though.
Well, wants to take advantage of every point that she can. We'll see. She hasn't officially called for a second yet, so I think she's just trying to see for herself. We'll get Cody Yoakum to come up there, see what he says. He initially called it a 4. And this is a big call here because this could put Nancy further into the driver's seat, and as you can see there, I think it is popping through.
You want a second?
Oh, it's so she's going to keep the 4 there.
So Nancy Kramer takes the lead now, 11-8. You never want to have drops, but if you do have them, you want to have them early, which is exactly what Michelle Fremelt did. So plenty of time for her to get back in this one. She throws a good axe right there, and so too does Nancy Kramer.
Yeah, it was a great response by Michelle. She missed out on the bullseye there, but just to see that axe hit the wood and a nice 5, something to give her the confidence taken to her remaining throws.
Nancy Kramer with the first bullseye of the match. That extends her lead to 4.
Yeah, we'll see Nancy if she can continue to put the pedal to the metal, but it looks like that's going to be a devastating 2 there. And allows the door to remain open here for Michelle Fremelt.
All right, 5.
So that'll tighten things up.
Yeah, you can see there from the side camera there, it's very close, but it looks like it was popping through in that 5 ring. So now Michelle with a nice response after that devastating drop on the third throw. Only down by 1 going into the turn.
Back-to-back 5s for Frummelt, and it looks like she'll bring that momentum right into the second half. That looks like another 5, perhaps a bullseye.
4 and 4.
Well, it looks like that's going to be a 4 for both competitors. Not popping through in the top part of that blade there from Michelle.
Yeah, from the angle I'm at, it looked like it could have been a bullseye, but eyes can be deceiving.
Well, that's why we have all those up-close cameras so we can get the call right here. Looks like that's going to be another 4 for Michelle. And a little bit of a wobbly axe there from Nancy Kramer. That's something we don't want to see out of any competitor.
Kramer and Frummelt stuck in the vortex. And that's just fine at this point for Kramer. If she continues to trade points with Frummelt, she'll get the win, leading by 1 here with just a few throws to go.
Ooh, another wobbly axe there by Michelle. Lucky that's stuck in the wood. But one of the things that we always talk about a player in their progression as a thrower is keeping the pedal to the metal, keep putting those positive points on the board and taking advantage of your opponent's mistakes. So Nancy doing a nice job there on her last throw, throwing a 5 while Michelle threw a wobbly 3.
Nancy Kramer looking to put this one away.
For Michelle. And
looks like she's off the mark. I don't know if she was going for that upper right-hand side bullseye, but either way, she did not hit it. We'll have to see if that's a 4 there or a 3.
Looks like it's a 4, but it's not. Right on the line. So a fortunate break there for Michelle Frummelt. That gets her within 2, right within striking distance, but she's going up for the kill shot.
Yeah, I like this call. She's down by 2. She's got to be the aggressor. We know the tournament's right around the corner, but unfortunately for her, she is off the mark, but I like the call nonetheless.
So Nancy Kramer wrapping this one up with a 4. She gets the win over Michelle Frummelt, 39-33.
Yeah, so another nice victory here for Nancy Kramer as she continues to improve her game. As you can see, she did have that bullseye there on the 4th throw. She followed up with a 2 that could have been a little dicey, but she did a nice job of rebounding and creating some separation between her and Michelle Frummelt. And then, of course, Michelle does fall to 10 and 15. Unfortunately for her, she did have that drop on her 3rd throw, which allowed Nancy to take the lead, and Nancy never looked back. But she was aggressive going for that kill shot there on her 10th throw, something that we know every player needs to get comfortable with the Week 8 double elimination tournament coming up. So for Michelle, we know she has better throws in her. Unfortunately for her, those drops started to creep up again. Hopefully she gets those out of her system and can focus up and have a strong tournament.
Well, we are just getting the competition started here in week number 7. Next up, it'll be Zach Hinkle against Jill Kedley.
Yeah, so Jill coming in at 15 and 9 and Zach at 13 and 11. In our last episode, we saw Zach with a little bit of a shaky performance here. So we'll see if he's righted the ship, so to speak. And that's a nice bullseye there for him to get started.
3-6.
Well, a flush bullseye for Zach Hinkle and a 3 for Jill Kedley. With the postseason right around the corner, you want to be at your best today.
Absolutely, and it looked like Jill was just holding on to that axe a little bit too long, and off the mark is Zach here. That looks like that's going to be a 2 and a 4 there for Jill Kedley. So he goes from a bullseye, a nice impressive bullseye to get the game started here, and then what could be a devastating 2 if he doesn't right the ship here.
And to my point about wanting to be at your best, it still is one last opportunity to get any kinks out before you get to that double elimination tournament, because once you get there, it's obviously a win-or-go-home situation once you lose your first matchup.
Absolutely, and Jill wants to get rid of holding onto that axe too long because that's her 2nd throw out of 3 that have been off the mark because she's held onto that handle just a little bit too long. Zach's off the mark there with a 4. But the rare 0 with the axe stuck in the wood, Joey.
Couple of 4s there from Kedley and Hinkle. Better throws there. Still a 4-point lead for Zach Hinkle.
15-11.
Yeah, both competitors kind of erratic with the axe to get started. We see that from time to time when players have their first match of the night. They're still trying to work out the kinks of their throw. There's a nice throw there by Jill. Ruled a 6. So popping through the bottom part of that blade.
Switch sides. Zach, you're up
so Jill Kedley gets within a couple of points. Zach Hinkle leading 19-17 as we get set to go for the second half.
And that was a much better release point there for Jill Kedley. We'll see if she can replicate it on the other side of the lane here. And looks like Zach is off the mark again with another 4. There's another nice throw there by Jill Kedley.
So Jill Kedley heating up when she needed to. She's now within a point. 4 throws to go.
I don't want to jinx her, but it looks like she's kind of figured out her release point a little bit. We'll see if she can consistently put it together. And It's another consistent throw there by Zach Hinkle. It's just unfortunately for him, it's a 4.
4, 6.
Well, it looks like we might be tied. No, if that's a bullseye, Kedley's going to take the lead.
It was initially ruled a 6, I believe. Eric's going to get a closer look here.
5.
Unfortunately for Jill, it was not popping through on the
All right,
right-hand
it's
side of that
tie
blade,
game,
but
throw number
he
7.
does tie it up,
Or, sorry,
27-27
throw number
with 3
8.
throws to go.
27-27.
So Zach Hinkle stuck in the vortex. Jill Kedley coming all the way back from a 4-point deficit. Another 4 from Hinkle. Can Kedley take the
4,
lead?
5.
Indeed, she does.
Wow. Again, high-pressure throws are what the tournament's made of, and for Jill
All right,
Kedley,
number
she's
9,
had 4
31,
really nice
32.
high-pressure
Jill, you're up by
throws
1.
to come back in this thing and take a 1-point lead. Unfortunately for him, he's been consistently stuck in that vortex. In a different direction, but a 4 nonetheless there for him.
We'll see if this is a
4,
4 or a 5 for Kedley. That's called a 4.
And that's going to be a close call if it's popping through in the bottom left-hand
5.
side and ruled a 5 there by the scope.
So now with a 2-point lead, Jill
That's right.
Kedley
Throw
looking to
number
put
10.
this one away.
Jill, you're up by 2.
We'll see if Zach Hinkle is going up for the kill shot. Looks like he was considering.
He's considering it. I mean, if Jill hits a 4 and he can hit a bullseye, he does still have the bullseye available on this side of the lane, and he is off the mark. And Jill with a 4, so a really nice, impressive comeback here for Jill Kedley.
Yeah, she got really hot there in the
39,
second half.
41, Jill,
And she
you're
gets the
gonna take that
win,
one.
41-39.
Yeah, so Jill Kedley with an impressive comeback victory, as you can see there. She had a bullseye there on her 5th throw and switched lanes and still had a really nice, consistent throw and able to come out with the victory, 41-39. One of the things I really liked about Jill's game is that on the 10th throw, Zach needed to hit a bullseye, so she sat there and waited for Zach Hinkle to throw. So all the pressure was on him. So a nice little tactical mind game that she was playing. Fortunately for her, she was able to overcome that 0 that she had on her 3rd throw. And then for Zach Hinkle, he started off so impressively with that nice flush bullseye. But as you can see there from the 4th throw on, definitely got stuck in the vortex. So definitely a kink that he wants to get worked out. But I'm sure he will come tournament time.
Yeah, 7 straight 4s from Hinkle to finish this one. Here's Hinkle on the match against Kedley.
Practice, I hit 4 bullseyes in a row, the reds, and then my first throw of the regular match, I hit the bullseye too, so I was like, all right, got control, let's start hitting these red ones on the outside, the 4s, and I tried this one, and I got a 2, and I tried this one, and I got a 2, and I kind of just missed all of them. And that made my score go down, so I flipped sides and just couldn't get back to the middle either. Just completely threw me off. So next game, I'm going dart and middle, all 10 shots, try to get a 52.
Well, we've got much more Battle Axe still to come. Stay tuned here on MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe, coming to you from the Bus and Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Danya, alongside Bobby the Blade Bradford. It's week 7 of the regular season, the final week before we head off to the double elimination postseason tournament to crown a Battle Axe champion. We're still just getting the competition started here this week. Time now for our next matchup. It's going to be Ann Welp taking on Cody Yoakum.
So Ann Welp coming in at 12-12. Cody coming in at 17-7. Cody gets the night started with a nice bullseye there. But Cody's one of those competitors that definitely wants to take home that Bus and Axe World Championship Cup. And we've seen Ann in tournaments past make some really nice runs. She just has to be consistent with her release point and finding the middle of that board.
Yeah, Cody Yoakum right on the cusp of winning the championship last season.
Correct.
He wants to get back there badly.
And for him, he's going to be aggressive going for those outside bullseyes. He's one of the competitors that have been really aggressive going for those outside bullseyes. And it's definitely paid off with his 17-7 record. And there's a nice throw there by Ann Welp.
Yeah, and that was
Say
something
score?
that Yoakum didn't really have in his arsenal last postseason. He played much more in the center of the board, but this year he's much more comfortable going outside and getting a little aggressive.
And we've seen, each competitor kind of takes a different approach depending on the matchup that they have and how their opponent's throwing. And being aggressive going for that outside bullseye, she's off the mark. But, there's times when it's just more efficient to play the middle of that board,
Yep, 3-4.
not to be aggressive and go for those outside bullseyes.
Well, kind of like Zach Hinkle
Throw
said
number
in his
5,
interview
good.
here
Time,
earlier,
17.
he was on fire with that bullseye, and then he wanted to just continue that, try to get the bullseyes outside, couldn't hit him, and it threw his whole game off.
Absolutely, and left the door open for Joe Kedley to come back, and there's a nice throw there by Cody
4,
Yoakum,
6.
hitting that lower left-hand side bullseye. But, yeah, to your point, Joey,
right, switch
you know,
sides.
it's all about consistency. It's all about comfort. So if you are comfortable going for those outside bullseyes, you can really create some separation. But if you're just kind of getting used to it on the fly, it can definitely put you behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, it's such a game of rhythm, and it doesn't take a lot to get you out of a
6-4?
rhythm. So
Correct.
I think perhaps one of the best strategies is when you're feeling in a rhythm, just
Stay
stick
in that,
to it.
Stay in that rhythm. And that's why we've seen so many times, you know,
Tied at
Cody
27.
Yoakum threw a bullseye
number
there on
7.
his 5th throw, had to switch sides, and then all of a sudden he threw a 4. So even just that change of lanes can affect a thrower. And with a nice throw on her 5th throw, being aggressive going for that
3-5.
outside bullseye, but she is off the mark.
Well, we've got a good one here between Cody Yoakum and Ann Welp. It's Yoakum leading by 2, 3 throws to go.
Yeah, and this is, again, for every thrower. You have to keep the pedals to the metal, keep putting positive points on the board. And the way Ann's throwing, she's not going to let
4,
up.
4.
Very close to being a 5 there by both
Throw number 9.
competitors.
Cody, you're up by 2.
Ann does not have that bullseye available for her on this side of the lane, so Cody does as well. So logical thinking would be that you're going to stick to the middle of that board, try to get that bullseye. Oh, he's very close there. Looks like that's going to be a 5.
5.
So it'll be a 2-point lead for Yoakum heading into the final throw. See if Ann
10th
Welp
throw.
decides to go for the kill shot.
Yeah, it's a very similar situation Zach Hinkle was in with Joe Kedley. And again, Cody doing exactly what Joe
5,
Kedley
6.
did, waiting for Ann Welp to throw, and
44,
he will come out the victor.
47. Cody's going to take that one.
So Cody Yoakum wrapping up the victory with
Good,
a
all right.
bullseye. 47-44, the final score.
Yeah, both competitors threw a really nice, consistent round. Those 3s that you see on Ann's scorecard, those because she was going for those outside bullseyes. Fortunately for her, she was off the mark and falls to 12 and 13. But a really nice, consistent round. We see her being aggressive when she hits that bullseye, being able to go for those outside bullseyes. It's just making those slight adjustments to get comfortable with it and hit him consistently. And then for Cody Yoakum, being very aggressive going for those outside bullseyes. You can see there, he had 3 bullseyes there on his scorecard for a nice, impressive score of 47. He improves his record to 18 and 7 and is definitely a competitor to look out for come tournament time.
Well, let's get right to our next matchup here on Battle Axe. It's going to be Nancy Kramer taking on the defending champion, Eric the Scope Shizzle.
So a mother-son matchup here. Nancy Kramer, as we saw, defeated Michelle Fremelt to improve her record to 11 and 14. The first time we're seeing Eric the Scope at 16 and 8. Nice throw there by Nancy to get the match started.
Bullseye, bullseye.
And not to be outdone is Eric the Scope.
Like mother, like
Great
son.
way to start the
Couple of
match.
bullseyes here for Nancy Kramer and Eric the Scope.
Well, it's just so nice to see competitors when they make that leap in their next evolution of throwing. Nancy Kramer's doing a great job finding that consistent release point, living in the middle of that board. Every once in a while, the axe will still get away from her, but still, the strides that she's made have been really impressive.
We'll see if that's a 5 from Kramer.
Ooh.
And the Scope getting
Bullseye,
aggressive,
Eric.
going for the
5
outside
Nancy.
bullseye, and I think he got it.
Yeah.
Indeed, he did.
He did get that, and he has a chance for what we dare not speak. But Eric the Scope, he's had a pretty inconsistent league so far. For him, I know he's not putting up the numbers that he normally wants to. But this is the time of year when Eric really starts to put it all together, and he is not fazed by the bright lights of the Week 8 double elimination tournament.
Yeah, even when he's inconsistent, he's always capable of going out there and doing something
5
spectacular.
Nancy,
So
3 Eric.
Right.
always someone you should consider one of the front runners to win the championship.
He's off the mark there
Throw
with a
4.
3, so Nancy takes a
Nancy's
1
up
point
by
lead.
1.
Well, yeah, Eric is going to have the same mentality that he's had since the show has started. You know, he's been very aggressive going for those kill shots early on, and with the addition of these outside bullseyes, he has been trying to take advantage of those as well. But he returns to the middle of the board there.
5 and
Nancy Kramer
5.
keeps pace, so 21-20 going into the 5th throw.
Throw 5.
Nancy
Nancy's up by
Kramer
1.
with a nice first half thus far. After the bullseye, she's just peppered the center of that board with 3 straight 5s.
Well, and we've seen throwers like Leroy Kedley, you know, living in the middle of that board. It can take you very, very far in this league. So it's getting there is a challenge, but when you do, if you can consistently live
5.
there, you can come away with a lot of victories.
All right. Touch them up, switch them
So
up.
A couple more fives there from Kramer and Shizzle.
At the turn,
Kramer
we
clinging to a
have
one-point lead
Nancy up by 1.
as they switch sides and get ready to go for the second half.
Another close matchup here for Nancy Kramer. We'll see if she can pull away like she did with Michelle Fremel. It looks like that's going to be a 5 there for her on her first throw, and we'll have to see if that's popping through in the bottom part of that blade there for Eric the
Nancy.
Scope.
Cody Yoakum coming in to get a closer look
Yes,
at
you
this
did.
one.
That's a bullseye.
And indeed, that is a bullseye. So the Scope ties things up. 31 all,
All
4
right,
throws
throw
to
7.
go.
We are tied
Eric
at
can no longer
31.
score 6 on the center bullseye. We'll see how aggressive he gets here against his mom in a tied game.
Yeah, Eric is no stranger to high-pressure throws. Oh, and you can see the axe getting away from Nancy Kramer just a little bit. She had put together just a tremendous match so far.
And that allows the Scope to do whatever he wants to do with this
Ooh.
throw.
Fortunately for Nancy, he only
To
threw a
Nancy.
4
For Eric.
because that could have definitely been a lot more dangerous. So
Throw
Eric takes a
8.
2-point
Eric
lead
is up
going
by
into the
2.
8th throw. We'll see how Nancy Kramer responds after that 2 on her 7th throw. We'll see if she can right the ship and find that 5 and 6 ring.
Eric the Scope with a 2-point advantage. Nancy Kramer can still score 6 on the center bullseye. She let go of that one too soon.
Yeah, she kind of overcorrected a little bit.
3 Nancy,
Eric looks
5
like that's
Eric.
going to be a 5 there for Eric the Scope. But that's what we see from a lot of competitors. When you hold on to the axe a
Throw
little bit too
9.
long, you try
Eric's
to
up by
overcorrect,
4.
and then it starts to sail on you. So unfortunately for Nancy Kramer, she's left the door open for Eric to come back and have a 5-point lead. But for her, if she can just find that middle of the board, maybe make a high-pressure kill shot, we'll see how it plays out. Ooh, but another nice
5
throw
and
there by
5.
Eric the Scope. And rule to 5 there for Nancy Kramer.
Throw 10. Eric's up by 4.
I think she's going to get a closer look. I don't know if it's popping through on the left-hand side.
45, 41.
See there from our side cam. Yeah, it looks like it's right on the black there.
Yeah, you've got to have a little bit of the wood on both sides of the blade
Kill shot
to,
called on
to
her.
get the score. Eric the Scope going up for the kill shot. We'll see if his mom matches him.
I didn't see any indication there from Nancy Kramer. Looks like she's going to play the middle of the board. And we'll see here if Eric can cap off this nice comeback victory here with a kill shot. Ooh, and he got it. The Scope
Hit
is
and
dialed
4.
in.
He pumps the fist as he hits the kill shot.
Eric takes
Eric
that.
the Scope
53 to 44.
locked in right now with the postseason right around the corner, and it's the Scope winning 53 to 44 over Nancy Kramer.
Now, this is a little more vintage Eric the Scope Shizzle that we're used to seeing here. As you can see on the scorecard, he has the 3 bullseyes, only the 1 3, but that was going for that outside bullseye. He had a nice kill shot there on his 10th throw. And if I'm a competitor in this league, I don't want to see Eric start to throw like this because he knows tournament time is right around the corner, and he wants to retain that cup. So if he's starting to throw like this, this looks like more vintage Eric the Scope. But then for Nancy Kramer, she started off this match so strong. As you can see there, her first 6 throws were nothing but 5s and that nice bullseye to get the match started. She fell off the wagon a little bit there on the 7th and 8th throw. She was able to rebound with a couple nice 4s there on the 9th and 10th throw, but it's all about consistently putting it together, and that's the next phase of Nancy Kramer's throwing career.
No doubt you turned that 2 and 3 into a 4 or 5, and she was right there in it with the Scope. We'll be right back with more Battle Axe. Stay tuned here on MC22. Welcome back to Battle Axe, coming to you as always from the Bus and Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. I'm Joey Daniel alongside Bobby Bradford. This is the final week of the regular season before the double elimination postseason tournament where we will crown a Battle Axe champion. Will the defending champion, Eric the Scope, defend his title, or will we have perhaps a new champion? We'll have to find out later on Battle Axe. But first, let's wrap up things here in week number 7. Our next competitor will be Justin Smith, and he will be taking on Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley.
There you go.
So Leroy the
Lanes
Lumberjack Kedley, one of those competitors that wants to take home that Bus and Axe Championship Cup. Justin Smith, also one of those competitors, making really nice strides in his axe throwing career.
2-5.
Ooh, but holding on to the axe a little bit too long. You can see you don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball like that to get the night started against Leroy Kedley.
Yeah, Kedley, of course, finished runner-up last season, and he's been itching to get back to the postseason and make another run at it ever since.
We'll see how Justin responds.
6-4.
That's a nice serve by Leroy. And it's going to be a 4 there for Justin Smith. So down by 5 going into the third throw. And Leroy looks like he's in tournament form.
Kedley can no longer score 6 on the center bullseye in the first half. He's been a little more aggressive this season. We'll see what he does here.
And I think the way the match has played out so far with Justin throwing a 2 on that first throw, Leroy's firmly in the driver's seat after 3 throws, so he's not going to leave that door open for Justin to come back. Justin's going to have to make some throws to force Leroy's hand. It looks like that could be a 5 for both competitors, rule of 5. So happy to trade points as Leroy
All right,
Kedley.
we're on throw number 5.
Leroy
you're up by
Kedley
5.
locked in here. He's got a 5-point advantage over Justin Smith.
You know, just like with Eric the Scope, you don't want to see
4,
Leroy
5.
Kedley throwing like this going into the tournament, because this is the kind of throws that can
Switch sides.
come away with a
24-20.
championship. And unfortunately for him, he throws a 4 there on his 5th throw, and they change sides. So a 4-point lead here for Leroy Kedley. We'll see if Justin Smith can make a comeback.
Yeah, Justin Smith with a nice 5 to
6-4.
chip away at that deficit.
And he
And
continues.
just like that, what a great throw there, a bullseye. He's within 2 all of a sudden.
7.
Yeah, and that's
Leroy, you're up
what
by
you can
2.
do, you know, living in the middle of the ring there, getting that bullseye. We'll see if Justin wants to be aggressive going for those outside bullseyes, and he is. We'll see if he hits it. It looks very close if it's popping through in the left-hand side of that blade. Eric the Scope getting
4,
a look here.
6.
And hit. So nice aggressive call. Ties this thing up.
Love to see that call there from Justin Smith. Down 2, he ties it up with a bullseye on the outside.
Leroy still has that bullseye in the middle, and he is off the mark, holding on to the axis a little bit too long. Love the patience by Justin Smith. And he's going for that lower right-hand side bullseye, but I think he is off the mark.
3.
But again, with
3.
Leroy's throw, I don't think it's not going to be any ground gained or lost by Justin Smith. So nice job for him waiting for Leroy to throw.
All right, we're on
It's
number
going
9.
to come down to
tied
these
at
last
35.
couple throws. 35 all between Smith and Kedley.
But if anything, you know, you'd love to see Justin Smith being really aggressive, going for those outside bullseyes. Leroy going for that middle bullseye.
5-4.
Justin returning to the middle of the board there, giving up a point there to Leroy
Right,
Kedley.
Leroy up by 1.
So Kedley had the 5, and
Number
he's
10.
got the lead now.
It's number 10. Leroy up by 1.
Oh, and-
Final
Kill shot
throw,
called on the
and
right.
Justin Smith is going for the kill shot.
Well, these are the throws championships are made of here. And Leroy with a nice bullseye there on his 10th throw. We'll see if Justin can come away with the victory with a kill shot.
Smith for the win,
Miss. 6.
and he's just off the mark.
He's just off the mark. We'll see if he wants to get a closer look. Going for that bottom kill shot's a little
46-39.
deceiving, but love the aggressive call.
Leroy's going to take that one by 7.
Well, what a
so
great
good hit
finish to
that.
this one. It was Leroy Kedley in control early, and then Justin Smith made a great run to come all the way back, but it's Leroy Kedley sealing the deal to get his 19th win of the season.
I don't know about you, Joey, but that definitely felt like a tournament matchup. You know, Leroy came out, had that nice lead. Unfortunately for him, he got stuck in the vortex a little bit, allowed Justin to come back. Justin with some really nice high-pressure throws to come back in this thing. Unfortunately for him, he was off the mark on his 9th throw, which gave Leroy a 1-point lead, but he was very aggressive going for that kill shot on the 10th throw, and he wasn't off by much.
Well, let's get to our next matchup, but before we do, we're going to throw it down to an interview with the former champion, Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. Bradshaw spoke with us about what it's like getting to watch himself on Battle Axe and how that helps his game.
It's monumental. Being able to photograph yourself and be able to watch your throw back, you'd be able to see everything from alignment, from your feet placement, to your hip placement, to where your anchor point is, and really focusing on your release point. All that stuff really comes into play. And part of the struggle that I had for many years is first it was my feet placement, trying to figure that one out. Well, once I got that dialed in, it changed my throw. So now it's trying to find a repeated throw and being able to focus in on just those minor things, where the axe is, where your peripheral is on placing your axe at the same point every time, where your release point is, how your grip pressure is will determine left, right, up, or down. So there's a lot of minuscule stuff that you really have to focus on, and there's a lot of moving parts. So once you start dialing those things in to where they become cement and it's muscle memory, the more you can get muscle memory, the easier that it is going to be to throw.
And that is what has made the former champion so remarkable here on Battle Axe.
Absolutely. His consistent approach is really what separates him from all the other throwers in this league and throughout the world as well. So Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw is definitely a fountain of knowledge in this sport.
Well, Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley coming off a win over Justin Smith. He's getting right back out there to take on the Magic Man.
So the Lumberjack versus the Magic Man. Leroy Kedley with a really impressive victory over Justin Smith in our last matchup. And our first time seeing Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw should be no surprise. There's a bullseye.
So Bradshaw can't score 6 on the center bullseye. We'll see how aggressive he gets here against the Lumberjack. He certainly loves getting aggressive, and I would expect him to do just that.
Yeah, Matt's been working on this all season long. We've seen him put together some incredible rounds. Right on cue, he goes for that upper left-hand side bullseye and hits it. So back-to-back bullseyes with a chance at what we dare not speak.
Bradshaw out to the early 2-point advantage. Kedley throwing well, but he's yet to get that center bullseye.
Well, and this is also a matchup here with Leroy Kedley. He knows that he has to hit that bullseye, and he has to go for those outside bullseyes in order to beat Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw. Matt's not going to make a lot of mistakes, and he has a chance. We'll see what Cody says about his throw there. But ruled a bullseye, so Matt with a unicorn to get his night started, and Leroy with a devastating 4 there on his third throw.
Our first unicorn of week number 7. 3 straight bullseyes to get this one started from Matt Bradshaw.
And then looks like Leroy's off the mark, and looks like that's going to be a 5. And Matt the Magic Man is off the mark, going for that upper right-hand side bullseye.
And a 3.
So Leroy able to get a couple points back. 19 to 21 going into the 5th throw.
Up by 2.
Well, as good as Matt Bradshaw is, he is human, and he just missed that outside bullseye.
Yeah, and we'll see what his approach is here on his next throw, if he wants to return to the middle of the board to try to keep pace, and that's exactly what he does.
5 and 5.
Looks like a couple 5s going into the turn.
So it'll be a 2-point lead for Bradshaw heading into the second half here against Leroy Kedley.
Yeah, and then for Matt, he's just going to reset. He's going to try to go for that middle bullseye first. We'll be interested to see if he wants to go for that outside bullseye after, if he does hit that. But, it's Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw, so chances are that middle bullseye is going to get hit.
4 and 5.
Well, you might have jinxed him. He just missed it there. Gets the 5, and it's a 4 from Kedley, so Bradshaw now up by 3.
7.
So Matt able to get a point there on Leroy Kedley. And as a betting man, I would imagine that Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw is going to hit a bullseye here in his next 4 throws. Oh, and right on cue.
All right.
And it looks like Kedley might have
Bullseye
his
for
first
Magic
bullseye of the
Man.
match as well. Cody Yoakum's going to get a closer look at it.
We'll see if the bottom part of that blade
5. Yeah,
is
that's it.
popping through. Looks like that's going to be a 5 there for Leroy Kedley. So another point gained by Matt the Magic Man. Now we'll see if he wants to go for those
number 8.
outside bullseyes or if he's just going to take his 4-point lead home.
You can get a little more aggressive with a 4-point lead, a lot of breathing room, but Kedley does appear to have thrown a bullseye. And
Bullseye,
Bradshaw
bullseye.
answers with a bullseye of his own on the outside. So now Kedley's going to have to get aggressive.
Number 9.
And this is where we've
Magic
seen
Man
Matt
up
the
by
Magic
4.
Man go for the kill shot consistently on the 9th, 10th throw. He said it at the beginning of the season, Joey, that he was going to go for it on the 9th and 10th throw no matter what the score was. So a chance for Leroy to come back, but he knows he can't have a 4. So we'll see if Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw can hit this kill shot. And flush.
4 and hit.
Wow.
A dagger from the Magic Man. A kill shot to extend his lead to 8.
Throw
And this is where I'd
10.
like to see Leroy Kedley go for the kill
Shot called
shot, and
on
he
left,
just called
on
for
right.
it. We know that Matt the Magic
Throw
Man's going to
10.
go.
51.
So if Matt
43.
is off the mark and Leroy can hit it, we will have a tie game, Joey.
Ooh.
Well, this should be fun.
And man, I bet Leroy is thinking if I could have only just thrown a 5 there on that last throw, could have come away with the victory. Unfortunately for him, he is off the mark on his kill shot attempt. And
Hit
just
and
a
miss.
dagger by Matt the Magic Man.
Bradshaw with ice in his veins. He's ready to go for that postseason.
Matt
He
takes
puts
that
up a round of 59 to get a big win over Leroy Kedley.
Well, we talk about championship form, Joey. That's what championship form looks like right there. As you can see, only the 1-3 on his 4th throw, but he was very close to hitting that bullseye on the outside 3 ring. What can you say? Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw improves his record to 24-1 with an impressive score of 59. Those back-to-back kill shots, that's something that wins titles. As you can see, he's getting very comfortable with those outside bullseyes. So we knew Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw was a dangerous competitor, and this just proves it. But for Leroy Kedley, he lived in the middle of that ring. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to find that bullseye until his 8th throw. But I do love the aggressive call, going for that kill shot on the 10th throw. He had a chance to tie it, but these are things that you want to get comfortable if you want to take home that World Championship Cup.
We've still got a couple matches to go here in week number 7. We'll bring them to you straight ahead here on MC22. Stay tuned for more Battle Axe. Welcome back to Battle Axe. I'm Joey Danya alongside Bobby Bradford here at the Bus and Axe Throwing Range in Dubuque. We are wrapping up the 7th week of the regular season, and then it's off to the double elimination postseason tournament. That's where we'll crown a Battle Axe champion. Can't wait for it, but first we've got to wrap things up here at week 7. Ethan Kedley going to take on Cody Yoakum.
A variable David and Goliath matchup here. Ethan coming in at 4-20. Cody Yoakum at 18-7. Looks like that's going to be a
6-4.
4 and a 6 there for Cody Yoakum.
Ethan Kedley wrapping up his first season on Battle Axe. Got to be 12 years old to compete. He turned 12 in the offseason, and here he is. And he's gotten a lot better throughout the season.
Absolutely. He's definitely improved as a thrower. One of the things that we want to eliminate early on is a drop. So for him, it's getting rid of that, and then also just kind of finding that consistent release point to start living in that 4, 5, and 6 ring.
Cutting the black line.
He's got so many great people to learn from here in this league,
Absolutely.
including his parents, Jill and Leroy.
Oh, and it looks like he's holding on to the axe just a little bit too long, but that
4-3.
blade is hitting flush into the wood there, so I'd rather see that and have a 4 there, but he is able to get a point on Cody Yoakum, who was aggressive going for that outside bullseye. 11-12 going into the 4th throw. And again, just holding on to that axe just a little bit. But those
3-2.
are the little things, Joey, that you learn.
Tied up at 14.
Still
I'm
able to pick
throwing
up another point
5.
there on Cody Yoakum as the axe getting away from him. So all tied up going into the 5th throw.
14-14 between Yoakum and Kedley.
There's a little better release point from
4-3.
Ethan Kedley, and he picks up another
Switch
point. So he
sides,
is up
17-18, Ethan up by
18-17
1.
going into the turn.
Well, Cody Yoakum getting aggressive here against Ethan Kedley, and he was unable to hit those outside bullseyes. We'll see how long he continues to be aggressive here now with Kedley in the lead.
4-6.
There's a nice throw by both competitors. And a 4 there for Ethan, but I love the release point. Let's see if he can replicate it and finish this thing out.
Yeah, interested to see if he continues to go for the outside bullseye.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Cody's approach is here. And it looks like he is going for that outside bullseye, and it
3-6.
looks like he hit it.
Good hit.
Well, back-to-back bullseyes from Cody Yoakum. He's now up by 4.
And as you can see, he's being aggressive going for those outside bullseyes. Ethan Kedley just trying to focus up on that middle of that board, hoping that Cody can make a mistake. And from this match, we've seen Cody make a
4-6.
few,
Unicorn.
but he is on
Nice
fire
shot,
right now
Cody.
with a unicorn after his 8th throw.
3 straight bullseyes from Cody Yoakum. He extends the lead to 6.
And these are some really nice high-pressure throws. You know, Cody was down by 1 going into the turn, and he's turned it into 3 consecutive bullseyes. Looks like he's aiming for that top right
3-6.
bullseye, and he hits it again.
Hey.
4 consecutive bullseyes, Joey.
Call that,
Cody Yoakum on fire right now. We'll see if
I
he can
believe that
wrap
was
this one
best,
up with another
best
bullseye.
call. Hey, we're on throw number 10,
perhaps a kill shot.
41-32.
Yeah, I
Cody,
didn't
you're
see
up
any
by 9.
indication from Cody going for a kill shot here.
Well,
With the game in hand, I would like to see him go for that kill shot, but he elects to play the board, and he is
4-3.
off the mark on that lower right-hand side bullseye, but
44-36, nice
comes out with a victory, 44 to
Nice shooting,
36.
Cody.
Well, what a second
row
half
there.
from Cody Yoakum. 4 bullseyes. He gets the win here over Ethan Kedley, 44 to 36.
Yeah, you can see 5 bullseyes thrown here on Cody Yoakum's scorecard. Unfortunately for him, the 2nd through 5th throws were 3s and 2s, but definitely something that he'll take to the bank with a nice score of 44. And if he can get locked into those outside bullseyes, he can hang with Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw and some of the top throwers in this league. So he's definitely a dangerous competitor, improving his record to 19-7. And then for Ethan Kedley, as you can see there on the scorecard, no drops. So that's definitely a building block. And for him, living in that 4 ring, consistent 4s and 3s, it's just figuring out that release point and being able to replicate it over and over and over again.
Well, just one match left to go here in week number 7. It's going to be Bob Yoakum taking on Leroy the Lumberjack Kedley.
Yeah, so Leroy 1-1 on the night here so far, falling to Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw 59 to
That's
43.
your question. Are you ready?
So we'll see how aggressive Leroy is. And our first time seeing Bob Yoakum coming in at 12-12.
Kedley's best performance of the night came in his
6
win
and 4.
over Justin Smith. He won that one 46
Throw 2.
to 39. Bob Yoakum, they don't call him Bullseye Bob for nothing.
Absolutely. Bob with a nice bullseye there to get his night started. We'll see how Leroy responds. And looks like Bob's just holding on to the axe a little bit too long. Looks like that's going to be a
4.
5 for, looks like that's going to be a 4 there for Bob Yoakum.
Is it?
But initially ruled a 5 there for Leroy Kedley. I think he wants to get a closer look and see if that's a
All
bullseye.
right, it's a 6.
And it is. So just like that, we're tied at 10.
Yeah, so popping through on the left-hand side
All
of that
right,
blade
throw
there for
3. You
Leroy
guys are tied at
Kedley.
10.
And Bob didn't miss a 5 by much. There's another nice consistent throw. We'll see if it's popping through on the left-hand side there for him.
4 and 5.
And it is.
So Bob
Throw
Yoakum
4,
back
Bob's
in
up by
front
1.
now, 15 to 14.
Yeah, so Bob, a nice consistent release point here after 3 throws. Leroy looking to hone in a little bit. Nice throw there by both competitors. It could be a 5 there if it's popping through in the bottom part of that blade there for Leroy Kedley.
Looks like
Cody Yoakum's going to get a closer look here.
5 and 4.
Ooh. Unfortunately, another 4 there for Leroy Kedley, though.
And another 5 from Bob
Throw
Yoakum to
5.
extend his lead to 2.
Yeah, so this is a match of 2 consistent middle-of-the-board players. I don't think there's going to be enough separation that they're going to be aggressive going for those outside bullseyes.
4 and 4.
As you can see, after 5 throws,
right,
it's 22
touch
to
must have
24
come up.
going into the turn. Both players hit their middle bullseye, but elected to play the middle of the board.
So Yoakum and Kedley switch sides, and we are ready to go here in the second half.
Axe sailing just a little bit there on Bob Yoakum, and we'll see if that's popping through in the bottom part of that
That's a
blade there for
6,
Leroy. Initially ruled a 6 there for
Bobby's
Leroy.
a 4.
Yeah, his best throw yet in this matchup. Not the best throw for Bob Yoakum. It's a 4,
Throw
and
7. You
Kedley
guys are
takes
tied at
advantage with
28.
a bullseye. We're tied at 28. We've got a football score.
We have a football score, and just very close to being a drop there for Bob Yoakum. A nice clutch throw there
4
by
and 5.
Leroy Kedley to take a 1-point lead going into the 8th throw.
Throw 8. Leroy's up by 1.
So just like that, Leroy Kedley comes back to take the lead. Pressure's now on Bob Yoakum.
Yeah, and the axe sailing again there on Bob Yoakum. Started off so consistently, and then
4 and 4.
it's kind of been a little erratic over the last few throws.
2 throws to go, though.
Throw number 9.
Plenty of time for
Leroy's
Bob
up by
Yoakum
1.
to get back in this one. He's just got to throw a good axe right here.
Absolutely, yeah. Fortunately, that's a great throw there. And another nice response there by
6 and
Leroy
5.
Kedley.
Nice.
So Bob Yoakum ties it up,
Throw 10.
42
You guys are
all,
tied
heading
at
into the
42.
10th row. What a finish here to week
A lot of
number
pressure
7.
there.
We'll see if they both elect to go for the kill shot here. I think that's what Bob's offering, and I think they
All
agreed
right.
to it. So
Kill shot called on both sides.
they're both tied here. Might as well get some kill shot practice in, Joey. Ooh. Maybe Bob wants to come home with the victory right away and not even go to sudden death. That's going to
Wow,
be very
those
close.
are both awfully close. Crucial ruling here coming from Cody Yoakum.
That's a mess.
Yeah, and ruled a miss there for Bob
Miss for
Yoakum,
Bobby.
and I think we can see there from our action cam
There.
that
And that's a
Leroy
miss.
missed his kill shot, so we'll go up again, 42-42, and sudden death.
We're going to sudden death,
So
boys.
we will get 3 kill shots, unless, of course, we have one of them hit it and the other one doesn't. What a way to wrap up the regular season.
Yeah, this is a very appropriate way to wrap up the regular season, and looks like Bob Yoakum is off the mark. We'll see if Leroy can hit it, and I think he did. We'll have to get a closer look. Oh, yeah, you can definitely see there. It's popping through on the
Nice.
right-hand
Leroy
side of
takes
that
that.
blade.
Leroy Kedley getting the sudden death victory, hitting the kill shot here on his first attempt. He gets the win over Bob Yoakum to wrap up the regular season.
Yeah, Leroy Kedley, he went for that kill shot in his matchup with Matt the Magic Man Bradshaw and was off the mark. Elected to go for that bottom right-hand side kill shot there in sudden death, and he hit it, popping through on the right-hand side of that blade. But just a consistent match by both competitors. As you can see, nice score of 42. Unfortunately for Bob Yoakum, he was off the mark on both kill shots. He was very, very close on his 10th attempt, though, and it could have walked away with the victory then. But these are 2 great competitors, 2 very consistent competitors. Leroy improves his record to 20-7. Bob falls to 12-13, but I'm excited to see how this plays out, not only in the rest of Week 7, but as the Week 8 double elimination tournament approaches.
Yeah, this should be a riveting postseason. Time now for our post-game wrap-up. Well, with the regular season in the books, here's a look at the standings heading into the postseason. Matt Bradshaw, 27-1. He improved his average score, 49.1 points per game. That's remarkable.
Yeah, after the way that he was thrown against Leroy Kedley, it should be no surprise that he improved his overall average score there, finishing the regular season with an impressive 27-1 record. Leroy Kedley follows up with a 21-7 record, averaging 45.5 points per match. Cody Yoakum in the third spot. Eric Schissel pops up to number 4 after an impressive week number 7. Justin Smith in the 5th spot. Zach Hinkle, Jill Kedley, and Bob Yoakum re-enters the top 10 after a nice week 7, and Michelle Fremmel rounds out the top 10.
Well, we will see you for the postseason here next time on Battle Axe. For Bobby Bradford and the entire MC22 crew, I'm Joey Dania signing off from the Bus and Axe Throwing Range. Thanks for watching. We'll see you here next time on Battle Axe.